masked man steps into a dark cavern. Danger lurks everywhere. It's clear this man isn't supposed to be here, and his motives are less than pure. He removes his helmet, revealing the chiseled face of Chris Pratt as Peter Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy. With a flick of his wrist, he presses play on his ancient Walkman, and suddenly he is dancing through one of the most iconic heist scenes in recent cinematic history. The Walkman was legendary. Later, the Zune, iPods, and now streaming had battled for the crown. But long before any of these, there was a square-shaped ancestor that dominated the music world for nearly 2 decades. Imagine a tape that loops forever, cuts your favorite songs mid-track, and turns your car into a rolling dance party. This week, at Not Your Average Holiday, we're celebrating 8-Track Tape Day. Let's go. Welcome all. It is week 3 of Not Your Average Holiday. Thank you for sticking with us. We are getting better every episode, and we are excited you're here. If you have been celebrating with us, this week we've got a number of great holidays. Akshay, give us the rundown. What can people look forward to this week?
Tell you what I'm really looking forward to. April 8th, National Zoo Lovers Day. Come on, Matt Damon, let's go buy a zoo. What a great movie, but also like...
Great reference.
Yeah, I mean, National Zoo Lovers Day. Who doesn't love a good zoo? A quality one that, treats its animals humanely, of course.
What's your favorite zoo?
Everyone loves to talk about like the San Diego Zoo.
Been there. Lovely.
Yeah, so that's a classic one. But I do like the Nashville Zoo.
I've never been to the Nashville Zoo. Do they play instruments there, or is it not as musical as I'd hope?
No, it's not as musical as you would hope. The one that also I think gets like the National Zoo in DC. I think it's kind of overrated. I'm not gonna lie. So
I won't go that far, but offline when we are not trying to get product placements and sponsorships, I would probably agree with you. My favorite zoo, thank you once again for asking. Akshay, it always makes me so happy how attuned you are to the things that make this a dynamic duo and the things I care about.
Yes, I know you work harder than me. I'm sorry.
Didn't say that. But I love the Brookfield Zoo in Illinois. I know there are other zoos in Illinois. There are other zoos across the world, but that one, it has a special place in my heart. Brookfield Zoo in Illinois is up there and top for me.
What makes it the top for you?
Well, they had these French fries that were shaped like animals. So
perfect. I didn't even know you could do that. That sounds dope.
And it's massive. It's got a ton more animals than the National Zoo. I won't tell you why I know that, but I may have looked that up to in an argument once, and I can confirm it has more animals than the National Zoo. The National Zoo is a very nice zoo that is free, although you do have to reserve your spot now, which always makes it weird for me. It's like you're free, but you have to know I'm coming. It seems like a lot of planning.
Hey man, to me, any zoo with penguins, I'm there. But that's not the only holiday this week, right?
Ooh.
April 11th. International Louie Day. Come on, how cool. How cool is that? And then, of course, April 7th, the one we're here today to celebrate 8-Track Tape Day.
Wow.
What do you know about 8 tracks, Matt?
Prior to this, I knew that they had existed. So I feel like I was ahead of much of the country coming into this week.
I truly... When I hear 8 tracks and I heard it was music, I was like, oh, is it like only allowed like a maximum of like 8 tracks? Is that why they called it 8-track?
Yes, it did. It contained 8 parallel tracks, hence the name. And get this. You could listen up to 80 to 100 minutes of music on loop.
That's pretty solid, though.
You ready for some more fast facts?
Let's
we are
go.
all going to get up to speed on this. These are all things I looked up. None of them is what I knew. But after this, we will all know it together and be a little bit better for it.
Hit me with it.
8 tracks were released in 1964. They were developed by Lear Industries along with a whole bunch of car companies that got together and said, hey, if cars were something more than silent, it might be more enjoyable to be in them. Something that growing up was a mix because I'd never always agreed with as much Kenny G as I got to experience in the car with my parents growing up. First car it was installed in. Pop quiz. Yep, you guessed it. Ford Motor Company. It was put in the Mustang, the Thunderbird, and the Lincoln. And by 1967, all car models had this upgrade option.
Look at Ford.
Yeah. The first time, I think, in car history, they were leading the way in something and really breaking the mold.
Literally came out with the first car.
Well, the best-selling 8-track of all time were the Eagles' greatest hit album, who got Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, and the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Ooh, I love that one.
I know. I'm not sure I would want that in my list of best albums ever, but I guess the High School Musical soundtrack didn't yet exist. Most valuable, as time has gone on, as these things have become collectibles, the most valuable albums include that Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, Kiss, Led Zeppelin. You can get $1,000 for those. Or if you've got some Sinatra albums, they've gone for over $4,000 a piece.
8 tracks?
Time to hit that local Goodwill and see if you've got a retirement plan sitting there on the shelves.
1 second. Can I get you to say, what's going on?
No. We're going to keep going.
I tried, folks.
He tried and failed. What dethroned it? Well, a lot of things that were a lot easier to play. Cassettes, Walkmans, LPs, Spotify Premium. They all became more accessible, easier to work with. They didn't have some of the drawbacks, but the 8-track tape did set a new ground, and people were able to riff off of that, which is kind of a music thing, right? Riffing?
Nice reference.
And one thing I think out of all of kind of the random facts we just hit you with that I found really interesting about this was that many people say 8-track tapes were the origin of the modern playlist. They were the first time you could take a bunch of songs you loved, you could put them onto a device in an order that you wanted to hear them in, right? Curated for you, by you. And essentially that's what became the playlist we all know today. Everyone's got one, right? No matter how you listen to your music, you have probably built, found, listened to, or favorited a playlist. And the 8-track tape is where many people say that whole idea really bounced off of.
Hey, is it a good time to shout out where they found us? Maybe like a playlist that you could find on Spotify? Nice plug, right?
That was a good plug. That was a good plug.
Keep going.
So that is basically the short, abbreviated, and probably full of holes that you are questioning history of the 8-track tapes. But this week, I don't want to just spend a lot of time talking about 8 tracks as they are. I want to talk more about what they mean, the music behind it, the playlist, the freedom they allowed, and what that allowed each individual to kind of set their own soundtrack to their lives. No longer were you reliant on the radio to say, this is what you're feeling right now. You truly could tell the world, no, this is what I'm feeling, and it is the Mary Poppins soundtrack.
I mean, spoonful of sugar.
It makes your medicine go down.
Yeah, it's literally supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Let's not finish that. Disney is very strict with their copyrights.
My bad. You're right. Okay, well then tell me this, man. You're talking about playlists, so be honest with me. Did you ever create a playlist for someone?
Ooh, that is a personal question, and I will answer it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm glad you thought you had a choice there.
Yes, I did. So while I just want to be funny and give the one-word answer, I actually give a longer answer. Yes, I have made playlists before, and I felt that my playlists were not personal enough. You know, just pulling the latest Fall Out Boy songs that made you feel kind of sad, but also kind of hopeful, and putting them in an order that made you mostly just sad. I said, no, I'm going to make this a little more special, and I would actually record, get this, voiceover in between the tracks, so I could explain to you, like I'm on a radio show, what the song is getting at, give you a little bit of history, hit you. There's probably still some of these copies flying around somewhere. I won't tell you where. They may also be in a dumpster. That's probably where they deserve to be.
Those that are listening right now are asking for one thing, and that one thing is give us your best crossover voice between one song to the next. What's your like? Maybe though it was 2 Fall Out Boy songs. Like, tell me which one, and just get into it. Let me hear that voice.
Well, it was mostly before my voice dropped, so I'll try to go a little higher pitched. That was Fall Out Boy. Here's the next one. See? Great
job.
This is why people say that I peaked in high school. I say, I sure hope not. I think playlists are synonymous with road trips, but not everyone is a road trip playlist person. So what are you? Are you a playlist? Are you audiobook? Are you one of those people who believes that sometimes the world should burn and you just drive in total silence?
No, I'm not driving in total silence. I would lose my mind. But I'm going to back up real quick, answer the question that I asked you. about playlists and who I made it for. Because I remember in third grade.
Wow. I'm interested to hear. This must be juicy if you're going back.
I'm taking it back, man, because I did the most embarrassing thing. Actually, it was fourth grade. It was fourth grade. It was the year that the movie Space Jam came out.
Oh, good one.
Right?
Are
There
you
were
ready
some
for a
really
Space Jam?
good songs, but I had this crush on this girl because it's always got to be about a girl and a crush. And I was like, I'm going to make her a playlist. And the funniest thing is there was a song in Space Jam that was the lyrics were like, I will move mountains for you. Right? And I was like, oh my God, it speaks to me. It's deep. Like,
Yeah.
I wrote
One
those lyrics
shovel at a
down on a
time.
piece of paper, and I was like, this is a part of what we do, and here's your playlist and everything. And I was like, I was like, it sounds like my words. And she was like, this is from Space Jam.
She knew.
She knew. So
Which means she's a quality girl if she's that up to date on greatest movies of all time.
she did, but it didn't work out. So I moved back on to my original purchase, which I want to know yours in a little bit. My original purchase of music was Jock Jams, and the first
Jock
ever
Jams.
Britney Spears album and the first ever 50 Cent album. All of it was at once. I had a variety of things. It was my birthday in the club, but it was also Britney Spears, and it was also like, come on, ride that jam, choo choo, ride it, choo choo, and that's all we can do.
The first album I ever bought for myself, not something that was given to me long before I had a CD player, but the first album I ever bought for myself. Remember, I said I was pretty cool back in grade school and high school. The first album I ever bought for myself was from a Christian band that I went to a school gymnasium to with my parents. And they had a little table in the back, and I said, these guys rock. And I bought it, and guess what? They signed it.
And you still have that CD?
Really still have that CD.
Yeah, of course you do.
They're great. They're great. Yeah, that was my first ever.
Did you? When's the last time you listened to that CD?
Oh, it's probably been a few
Do you still
weeks.
listen to that band?
No, I don't really listen to any music anymore. You know, I actually like putting on New Music Friday and blasting it and just kind of playing Russian roulette with my life. You know, people then take a look and they're like, wow, he's listening to that. I'm like, it's New Music Friday.
So I'm an audio, like a podcast guy, but so it sounds like you're a New Music Friday guy if you're driving on a road trip?
So fun twist. If I'm just traveling around, like going to the grocery store, commuting to work, most of the time, yeah, I'll put on a New Music Friday, hope to discover something. But also I'm always trying to trick the algorithm. At the end of the year, I want them to be like, you have eclectic takes. And I'm like, so do you, Spotify. But if I'm on like a road trip, like a really long road trip, to me, there's nothing better than a good audiobook where you can just kind of dial in, disappear, and it just makes the miles go by faster. So yeah, if I'm on a long road trip, anything over an hour and a half, I'm dialing up some sort of audiobook to make the time fly.
All right, so we're talking about some good stuff here. There used to be a time when you had to listen to things and you did it in a way that was just almost like romanticized. It was almost to the point of like you would literally have to take time to pick an album, put it in the system, load it up, sitting with it. Like now you can just go stream it. Right? You can just go click a button and a couple buttons and it's like at your fingertips, right? Do you miss that like tactile ability to just be able to go physically pick up something, to put it on and like, you know, sit with your feelings, I guess, like all your Fall Out Boy feelings?
Yeah, and I think I see this in a lot of different places, right? I think music specifically, I can still remember times where I would go to Best Buy and I'd have $20 in my pocket and you just have aisles and aisles of CDs. You could
and they were all Taylor Swift CDs.
Well, no, this was before. I'm thinking like before, and you didn't know what any of them sounded like, and you just had to roll the dice.
That's true.
When I got my first paycheck in college, working at a front desk, and I went and I bought some Kanye West albums, and I'm like, I finally arrived, man. I told you, I'm cool.
It was those 808 beats, man, and you're from Illinois, so come on, like he's a Chicago
kid.
You
get it. It was Graduation was the album. In case
of course,
you look
classic.
that up. And it's been very recent that I've listened to that. But I think there's been a lot of places, right? Movie nights, being able to go to Blockbuster and just walk up and down the aisles, and you found stuff that you wouldn't have found otherwise because it was an organic experience that you could touch, you could see the cover, you could pick up, you could read the back of it. You didn't have a whole bunch of ratings of people you have never met before telling you whether it was something you were going to like or you weren't going to like, right? And I even think you see it with books these days. I've always loved reading. I just mentioned audiobooks, but I think, when you go on Amazon, as wonderful it is to have all of these books right at your fingertips, there's still something magical about walking into a bookstore and you find 50 more things you're interested in reading simply because you were able to experience them and see them and be there. And that's something where, 8-track tapes, some of the ways we used to pick music, the ways we used to pick books, movies, we've lost some of that. So much of what is fed to us is picked for us rather than us doing the picking. And I think this day is really cool because it reminds us there is a reason humans have curated art and curated what speaks to them. And we have to keep doing that. We have to keep finding the art that speaks to us as humans because it's going to be different for every person. And that's what makes it really special.
You guys didn't know that we're getting this philosophical today, did you?
You thought it was going to be 8-track tapes, and here we are talking about the state of humanity.
Can I get weird for a second?
Sure, as long as it's on tape.
Good one. There is something like when you go to a bookstore, I don't know, man, books, like brand new books, they have this like smell. Mm-hmm. And like I don't know what it is, but like I love going into a bookstore and just smelling books. It sounds weird, and I'm probably
it does sound weird. In fact, you just got your name on a number of lists,
pages and our YouTube pages. But hey, look, maybe there are other people out here that also like the smell of new, freshly bound books that are for sale at a bookstore. Tell me if I'm weird or not in the comments below. But
definitely let them know. Let them know. I have enjoyed talking about this. I think this holiday has been really interesting in a lot of ways. Not necessarily, I'm not installing an 8-track tape deck in my car, but it makes you think for a second. And I think that's what a good holiday does. Me, this one, it packs a bunch of nostalgia. I mean, I didn't grow up with 8-track tapes, but I think a lot of what this holiday means hits home.
It takes you back. It's classic. The significance is because it really does take you back to a time where like you didn't even have seatbelts in your cars. That was also when people smoked like everywhere, so that was also weird.
Different time.
It was just a free, carefree time, and you were listening to your music, and you were just traveling down the road, hopefully maybe on Route 66, and just having that moment, right? So the nostalgia factor is there, and the significance means a lot because if the 8 tracks didn't come, they wouldn't have led the way for everything else that came after it, right?
This holiday is something to try. And I know, for me, I know there are a lot of different ways that you could celebrate this, whether it's learning more about 8 tracks, sharing stories about your music history, hunting for some 8 tracks, tapes, or maybe, and here's something that I kind of want to do, find an album I've never heard of and just listen to it beginning to end. Just discover some music and experience it for the first time. So a lot of different ways you can celebrate, and that's how I'm probably planning to celebrate this one myself.
Do you have a genre or know what you're picking out?
No, I'll let the algorithm decide it for me. I'm way too busy. Way too busy. But all right. Well, that is just about the wrap for this episode. There was a time when 8-track tapes defined an era, but like many technologies, they replaced, forgotten, and to some this is a major loss. A kind of magic replaced by clean convenience of streaming. But has this availability and non-clicky audio made our listening habits better or just different? When's the last time you simply sat down and listened to some music? Not on your phone, not commuting, not cleaning, not working out. Simply stopped and literally listened to the music. Akshay, how can people get a hold of us and let us know what they're listening to this week?
You guys remember us to follow us on Instagram and Not Your Average Holiday Podcast. Average is AVG, and Not Your Average Holiday YouTube channel.
And that's it for episode 3. There are 52 weeks in a year.
How are you celebrating this one?
We're Not Your Average Holiday, and we'll see you next week. Record that one. That was good. What is going on? Technical difficulties. Game face. Woo! Product placement.
You can't even hear me.
I'm so nervous I drank it the wrong way. It came through the cap. Product placement. I had to say chiseled face and then Chris Pratt, and it was just a lot of cheese in my mouth.
Revealing the chiseled face of Chris Pratt.
Do you think we could get Chris Pratt for this episode?
No.
All right. Well, not in the budget. Not in the budget.
We don't have a budget.